This video is for you if you're trying to do a person-centered or self-focused reading when it comes to love reading. Hey guys, this is Kim. Welcome back to my channel, Fables Stan. Happy Valentine's Day. So usually when we do love readings, when you think of love readings, you usually think about people asking third-party questions. You know, questions like, what is he thinking about? What are their intentions towards me? Is he ever gonna come back? Is he gonna hit me up? Is he gonna text me? What is our relationship gonna be like? A lot of futuristic questions, a lot of questions that glean into the future, a lot of questions where you're focusing on the other person and not yourself. So I'm definitely guilty of this, because when you're attracted to someone or when you're entertaining ideas of romance and the potential relationship, you just really want to know how you appear to the other person. So I'm definitely guilty of this, and I have done readings to try to gauge this myself, but I've chosen not to do it just because it really messes up with my mental health and just makes me more anxious than anything. So I personally like to focus on myself. And if you're on the same boat, if you just want to focus on yourself more, to bring the attention back to yourself, to cultivate a deeper sense of self-love, and also you just want to be working on your own confidence, because ultimately you can't really control what the other person thinks of you. You could definitely care about that a lot, but at the end of the day, we want to bring the focus back to ourselves, because the relationship we have with ourselves is the most important one. So the first thing you can explore with tarot when it comes to doing a love reading is through the lens is self-love. You can use tarot cards to recognize your own needs, to get in touch with yourself, to get in touch with your love languages, about what you need from your partner in a relationship in order for that relationship to be healthy. You can use the cards to reflect on your desires, your own intentions, and your own boundaries in love. So use the cards to bring all that focus back to yourself instead of obsessing over the other person, especially if you are a recovering / chronic people pleaser, if you are a giver, if you are a lover, if you're someone who's very sensitive to the other person's needs and you're very considerate of the other person, you're constantly prioritizing them over yourself, you know, if you have self-sacrificing tendency, it's good to just have a checkpoint where you bring the attention back to yourself and ask yourself, what do you need? What do you want? What is it that you're craving outside of that, what that person is needing and what that person is wanting, etc. So using tarot cards for self-love or to do self-love readings is a good way to do a self-focused love tarot reading for yourself. Doing a tarot reading through the lens of self-love is the first thing that you can do. So number 2, problem solving and conflict resolution. So even if you're in an extremely loving and healthy relationship, you will always from time to time have conflict that you need to resolve, misunderstandings that you need to clarify with the other person. You might have some practical logistical issues when it comes to a relationship, such as maybe living in different cities and trying to figure out a time to do stuff and just trying to like solve problems together as a team, right? So you can really use tarot cards to lean into that. You can use tarot cards to try to find practical solutions when it comes to the problems you're experiencing. You can use tarot cards to find an alternative perspective. Maybe there's something you're not seeing from your partner and vice versa. Maybe you just need some suggestions from the tarot cards. Maybe you need to examine your triggers. Maybe you need to touch base with your inner wisdom, so you're not approaching the problem with a me versus them mindset, but it's more of an us, teammate, like us against the problem mindset. You can use tarot cards to help you resolve conflict in relationships. You can use that to kind of just figure out where the blind spots are and just make your relationship overall just smoother. So that's another thing that tarot is good for when it comes to love readings. Third thing is if you're dating or if you're in a relationship and you're sort of evaluating this person, you know, if you're in the beginning stages of a relationship, or if you're just perhaps evaluating a connection. Doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be a friendship. It could be an acquaintance or like a business partner, any type of relationship. You can use tarot to examine your compatibility. You can use tarot cards and lean into the archetypes to look at your common values. Again, anything that you're missing. You can use it for discernment, like what behaviors are you noticing? What do these behaviors mean? You can use it to create a character analysis of the person in front of you. So you can constantly check in and be like, okay, do I notice a consistent pattern here? Is this pattern a positive one? Is it a negative one? Is this compatible to my values, like how I want to show up in a relationship and how I want my partner to show up in a relationship, and what this relationship is going to be like if this behavior continues? So you can really use tarot cards to just unpack compatibility issues. So you can really use tarot cards to kind of paint a picture or just give you like a clearer outlook on how compatible you are with this person in front of you. Okay, number 4, self-improvement. So through the lens of self-improvement, again, which is kind of like under the umbrella of self-love, tarot is already like an amazing self-improvement tool. But when it comes to, you know, the topic of love, you can use the tarot cards to explore the things you want to work on, maybe some of the weaknesses you want to overcome. Like, do you need to work on your boundaries or communicating those boundaries? Do you need to work on your triggers? Do you have bad habits that you need to break? Do you have bad habits that you need to break when it comes to love and relationships? Perhaps you drop that self-care routine. Perhaps you need to sleep earlier. You can use tarot cards to look at the things that you need to improve for yourself so that you can show up better for yourself, you know, for the relationship that you have with yourself or for another person. Number 5, this is kind of like a big topic, but I just gotta throw it in there. You can use tarot cards for trauma healing, because healing our traumas is so important when it comes to cultivating a healthy and loving relationship with yourself and with the person that you're with. So you can use tarot cards to hold space for unresolved emotions. You can use it as a sounding board. You can use that to trigger the things that you want to release and want to resolve. You can use tarot cards for shadow work. I'm sure you know, if you follow me and you watch this channel, you can use tarot cards for inner child work and talk to your inner child and talk to the parts of you that feel vulnerable and wounded. There's just so many things a deck of tarot cards can do for you when you are on this healing journey, because the archetypes and symbolism in tarot represents, it's just such an insightful representation of the human psyche, and it's just so much to work with, and it's so beneficial to have a tarot deck when you're on your healing journey, if you know what I mean. Number 6, you can use tarot cards to cultivate confidence. And I understand this may sound like kind of overlapping with what I said earlier, such as self-love or self-improvement, but when I speak of confidence, I'm sort of talking about your sense of self, your sense of beauty, your sense of attractiveness, and it has nothing to do with like how conventionally attractive you look or how Hollywood ready you are, because I believe beauty is your authenticity expressed and put into motion. It's when you feel in tune with yourself. It's when you feel that you can freely and honestly express who you are and show that to the world, when you feel like you have nothing to hide. And tarot cards can really help you lean into that. Like, it can really help you explore your ideas of beauty. You can work through your body image issues. You can work on your charisma with tarot. Sort of just like get in touch with the parts of you that really make you attractive and that really make you tick. And this has nothing to do with your appearance. It could just be how you show up in the world and what your energy is and what your vibe is. You can ask tarot to be a total sim for you and just be like, what is the best thing about me? What is the most attractive thing about me? What is the most beautiful thing about me? What about me? What is the magic and beauty in my personality that I need to express more, or I need to stop hiding from, or maybe I need to work on, etc. So use tarot to work on your confidence and your sense of beauty. And this may sound like it has nothing to do with love, but you know, when you're dating, when you are putting yourself out there, or when you're in a relationship, you want to maintain that attraction, right? I think largely that really comes from having that attraction for yourself and just finding out what makes you attractive or what makes you feel attractive and beautiful. So tarot can really help you lean into that. And I think I said that phrase a bajillion times. But on to the next point and the last point. Last but not least, number 7, use tarot for curious exploration. What does that mean? I think when you're like in a relationship, when you're trying to be in a romantic relationship with someone or just with yourself, it's so important to examine the scripts that we have about love. For example, how we define love, how we define respect, how we define intimacy, because we are just so bombarded by our culture and our media with so many false ideas about love and a lot of toxic ideas about love and dating and romantic relationships and romance and even self-love. There's just so much garbage and so much distractions out there, and there are just so many things. Like, everybody has a different definition of love. So if you want to do a love reading that's self-focused, you can use that to define things for yourself. You can use tarot cards to help you get in touch with your personal values, because knowing who we are are, and having that self-awareness is so important. And because it gives you a strong core. Like when you know who you are and when you know what you want, when you know what your values are and what your non-negotiables are, it's more likely that you're gonna find the ideal relationship and the ideal partner for yourself. So use tarot cards to curiously explore what it means to show up in a relationship and what love means for you. All right, so that went by really fast in my opinion. Those are the 7 topics and 7 things that you can use tarot for. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if any of these gives you inspiration or just like some sparks and light bulb moments in your head to take with you for your own tarot reading. Leave me a comment down below and I'll see you next time.